My name is Eric Chua. I'm 41 this year, and I've been married to my wonderful wife for 14 years. I served previously with the Singapore Civil Defence Force. Together with my wife, we just welcomed our firstborn son just last week. Now, firstly, why I'm here this morning. I'm here out of a sense of duty and gratitude for all the help that I've received throughout my life so far. Firstly, my parents. My parents didn't have very much in life. My father was a forklift driver. My mom was first a stay-home seamstress, and later, when I was older, she became a production operator in a factory. But they worked very hard to provide for me and my sisters and saw us through school. And I'm very grateful for what they have done for us. At work, I was fortunate to have supervisors who saw in me values that they think they could cultivate. So they gave me opportunities and chances and helped me grow professionally. In the community, I had a wise council of senior grassroots leaders who shared generously their community service experience as well as the precious life lessons. So I have been the recipients of the generous contributions of many wonderful souls, and this is time for me to step up and pay it forward. If elected, one of the several areas I would like to focus on is to ensure that youth, especially those from humble family backgrounds like I did, will continue to have a fair chance to succeed in life. I spent the most part of the past 15 years of community service growing with our youth, mentoring them, and learning from them. More than 10 years ago, I started mentoring a group of youngsters. They were in secondary school then. I've kept pace with them all these years. All of them have finished their education right now. The guys have completed NS. Many of them landed in good jobs. A few of them, now in their mid-20s, are even planning to settle down and get married. So mentoring our youth has really given me the joy and satisfaction that I find in community work. Second, there will always be those amongst us in a community that will need help for whatever reasons. And this is particularly relevant in today's context as we battle the global COVID-19 pandemic. And I want to share an experience that I had a few years ago. I was in the SCDF then, and I arranged for myself to shadow an ambulance crew, just so as I can better understand the operational challenges that they face while they were on duty. On that duty, we were activated to a case of cardiac arrest. And when we arrived at the incident location, we find that the location was a rental flat, but we quickly noticed that the flat was rather dirty. It hasn't been cleaned. It seemed like it hasn't been cleaned for weeks, if not months. There were rusted cans strewn all over, tin cans strewn all over the floor, and there was a stench coming from the unit. There were 3 persons in the unit. First was the granny, who was having a cardiac arrest, and there was a middle-aged man, the granny's son, and we quickly found out that the man was someone with special needs. And the third person in the room was a young social worker, quite an angel because she was the one who called 995, and she was the one who was actually still performing CPR when we first arrived at scene. So what we did was we quickly took over from the social worker. We continued our resuscitation effort, rushed the granny to hospital, quickly handed over to the doctors at SGH. And were we relieved when news from the operating theatre came a few minutes later that the granny's pulse came back. At that particular point in time, I was just filled with joy, that elation and euphoria of saving somebody, because this is what the life-saving force was all about. But when that initial joy subsided a little bit and rationality set in, I started asking myself, so this granny survived. Is she going to go back to the conditions of the rental flat that she was in? How is she going to fend for herself and her special needs son? This and many other questions surfaced in my mind then. So for various reasons, there will be those amongst us that will need help. For our youth and for those in our community that needs help, I've decided to stand in this election as a part of the PAP team. What we have in Singapore is a system that works fine. But a working system doesn't mean that it doesn't need work. In fact, we need to work hard to keep the system going, refine the system over time, keep it relevant. And I want to be a part of this effort to keep us going strong. I'll now say a few words in Mandarin. 亲爱的媒体朋友，早上好，我是蔡瑞龙，很高兴在这里和大家见面。我在社区服务已经有15年的经验了。这一次我决定参选，是为了有更多的机会和平台，能够服务新加坡的社区以及人民，希望能够得到大家的支持。谢谢。